It's another beautiful June Monday. Thank you for joining me. 5 minutes with Sean, maybe 10. As I approach my 40th birthday here, and we're close. We're close here in the month of June. We're close. June 20th to be sure. So if it mattered, so we're close to that. My therapist warned me that as I approach 40, I'm going to start looking at my life differently and retrospectively, and might even get a little bit, philosophical on myself. Well, she wasn't wrong. It's happened. And some of it's, some of it's tongue in cheek, some of it's funny that way, oh my God, I'm halfway through, what have I done, where am I going? Some of the imposter syndrome stuff we talked about with Lori Holder a couple weeks ago, that sort of stuff exists, but more so now. I've recently learned throughout the pandemic and, more recently the last 6 months probably, about some of my partners, right? Not just dealer clients, people I do business with in general, for vast numbers of reasons, have divulged to me in one way or another, or made a mention, or shared a link, or done something that has made their outside of business views public to me, right? So I know where they stand. I try to be quiet on all things outside of work without, with the exception of a few things, obviously, that anyone who follows me on social media knows that I'm into, and that's fine. I don't really care. I'm happy to be public about that. But there's a lot of my life that's fairly private, which is why I'm not a 7-day-a-week poster and pictures of what I'm doing. I don't get into it. This is really where I do what I do, is on the show and for the show. Other than that, I do try to keep things as private as possible. Yeah, we have the Get Outside Fridays. That's more of a motivation. It's more of a fun thing. My point is that what do you do when you find out that the people you do business with have completely different views than you on a wide range of social topics, whether it's political, it doesn't matter. Anything that you have an opinion on. What do you do when you find out the people you do business with have a completely different view, one that might anger you or frustrate you or that you completely disagree with? And so I've struggled with this myself. Do I fire them? It seems a bit overreaching because I learned about what you do outside of work, but I don't do anything with you outside of work. You and I work together. I do business with you, do business with me for whatever reason. That's business, right? Like it's tough to me. It goes back to, my wife's gonna roll her eyes at this, but it goes back to a baseball deal, right?
They won't see it.
They can't see it, but I know it.
Okay.
It's happening. Yeah, is that it goes back to baseball, right? So you talk about a guy like Pete Rose, right? This idea of what he did, what he didn't do. What he did or did not do was outside the game. Yes, it broke a rule. Okay, maybe not the best example because it broke a rule that was written. Fine. My point is we're always talking about what people do off the field. But halls of fame are for the job. So if the job, during the job, dude, even if the guy was the biggest jerk in the world, if the job was there, does it matter? Now, don't take it extreme to people who go outside the sport and do crazy shit. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm just talking about in general. Where do we draw the line between what someone does at work and what they do in their personal lives, and how should that affect how we view them? So I can't fire them. I don't see it for myself personally. It's not about the money. I don't care. It's because I learned something perhaps I shouldn't have, and or doesn't matter in my day-to-day interaction with these people. Okay. Do I talk to them about it? That seems even less likely. Because once again, don't really feel like it's my business. And again, I work my ass off to make sure no one knows where I stand. That's my job. My dad always taught me to be Switzerland and know as much as you can about as many things as you can. Because there's going to be people who want to talk about all kinds of different things and engage in all kinds of different conversations. You've got to be able to just have them. And that's what I do. So I have people in my circle that will interact with me as assuming that I wear their clothes. I mean, it happened to me after not this last election, but an election ago. I happened to be in a restaurant, bar, tavern on the day after an election, in my work clothes, doing what I do, and was basically ostracized because I was like part of whatever they were angry about. They had no idea who I was, what I did, but because of how I looked, what time it was, and where I was present, potentially I was a certain brand of human. That's not fair. That's not fair, and I'm not going to do that to other people. It's not fair to do. So I don't really think I should care. So I guess it comes down to ignore. But then I struggle with ignoring because then am I, complicit in the behavior? Is that all the same problem and struggle? Shit, I'm not sure. So I guess by ignoring means I would have never brought it up to the surface, had it here, talked to anyone else about it. So I guess I didn't ignore it. But I do struggle with it. So let me know. This is a weird show for me. I didn't really think I would even talk about this topic for this long, to be honest with you, because I don't know where to take it. And I would love to hear what everyone else thinks and their opinions of how they approach it. But for now, I'm going to stick with work is work. I do work with you. I'm not having beers with you, so what you do during beer time really isn't of my concern as it sits now, at least unless it steps over lines, which we all have, which include violence and all kinds of things of that nature. But as long as it does not, then I don't think that I should follow it. All right? Thank you guys so much for joining this week. Don't forget, we're going to close this month out with some really, really awesome sit-downs and another Mental Health Monday coming your way. Thanks a lot. Enjoy your week.